Welcome to Stager Savvy, insider secrets to stage your home and sell it for more. My name is Stephanie. This is the podcast where we bring you the latest tips, tricks, and expert insights from the world of professional staging. And I'm joined by my friend and fellow staging expert, Candace.
Hi, everyone. We may be competitors in the Denver market, but we believe in abundance and collaboration over competition, and we're here to share our collective knowledge with you. So sit back, relax, and get ready to learn from the experts. This is Stager Savvy.
Hello and welcome. So let's jump in with who we are. Candace, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Candace Doherty, and I am the owner of Candace Lee Designs, Home Staging Inside and Out. I started my business a little over 4 years ago after a career in education. I spent most of my life teaching kids of all ages. I loved it, but I wasn't feeling very appreciated emotionally or financially. I needed a change. I had always said that I wanted to be a stager, and God led me to a way to make that switch. I jumped in, I pushed past my fear of failure, I trained for it and prepared my business. Now I'm still using my skills in teaching, but my students are much taller and I'm educating them on things that will help them financially in a positive way.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so good. Teacher Candace, I love it. Now you have tall students.
Right.
So good. So I sort of have a similar backstory. I'm Stephanie Breckville. I'm the owner of SLB Design Company. I was a teacher assistant for many years and worked at my kids' school while they were growing up, worked with small groups of kiddos, mostly with math, because I'm kind of a math nerd. And then I did some odd jobs while my kids finished school. But once my baby went off to college, it was time for something new. It was time for my next chapter. And I really had no idea what that meant or what that was going to look like. And staging sort of fell in my lap. And once I found it, I knew that it was exactly what I was looking for. And it's been fabulous. And I'm just a few months behind you. I've been in business almost 4 years now. So it's awesome. Loving it.
Flies.
Sorry?
Time flies when you're having fun.
Right? Oh my gosh, so much. So let's talk a little bit about some kind of the basic stuff in today's episode and just get into what is staging. Hopefully, if you're here, you know, but let's talk about it so that we're all on the same page so that we know what we're talking about throughout the podcast. So can you start? What is home staging?
Well, the definition of of staging is to move to or place in a particular position, to style or furnish in such a way as to enhance its attractiveness to potential buyers. Staging is marketing your biggest asset.
Yes, love it. Yeah, right. Making it attractive to potential buyers. That's the whole thing. Simply put, it's preparing a home to sell, doing all the things to make it appealing to buyers. It can be prep, like repairs and cleaning, and then the actual staging part, like arranging the furniture and the art in a way that's going to appeal to those potential buyers and make them envision themselves living in the space. I feel like that's sort of the big picture, is taking the focus off the homeowners and turning it to the potential buyers. We want them to fall in love with the space, right? Yeah. So how is staging different than design, right? They're two different monsters here.
That's a very good question because I get asked that all the time, and I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
Well, they're really two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
Design personalizes a home and costs you money, and staging is depersonalizing a home and it makes you money. Who doesn't want to make money?
Love that. That is so good. Personalizing and costing, right? Because design is expensive, or it can be expensive,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But if we're depersonalizing and we're going to end up with more money at the end, oh, that's what everybody wants, right? Everybody wants more money. Yeah. I like to say design is creating a space that is a reflection of the people that are living there, and it's surrounding them with all of the things that they love, right? It's very personal. And staging is not personal. It's creating a space that's neutral enough that anybody can see themselves there
Right,
while it's still warm and inviting and makes it a place that you want to be. We don't want it to be
right,
sterile or anything like that. So
right.
yeah. Anything else?
No, that's pretty much the definition of what is staging.
Right on. Okay. So let's talk services. What are some of the services that a stager might provide for their clients?
So every company is different and offers different services to their
Right.
clients. There's consultations, there's paint color consultations, there's vacant staging, occupied staging, and we're going to talk about a little bit about all of these so that you understand the differences.
Awesome.
So consultations are where the stager comes in, often paid for by the realtor as a value add to their listing presentation. And the stager will come in and walk through the property, making recommendations, depending on their budget and their timeline of things that they can do to get their home ready. Then
Love it.
there's the vacant staging, and vacant staging is the typical staging that we all know about, where people, stagers bring in all the furniture and all the decor and stage a vacant home to make it look like a model home, right? And
Yep.
then the last thing is occupied staging, which a lot of people don't really understand, but Stephanie and I both do occupied staging, and occupied staging is where the homeowners are living in the home, and they will be living in the home through the process. And so it's really working with what they already have to make it look its best, adding touches here and there, perhaps bringing in a few extra furniture pieces, maybe art, to really make it look outstanding.
Yes. Right. So they're going to be, so when you take furniture and accessories into an occupied, or maybe not furniture, I suppose, but when you take accessories and things into an occupied, how does that work as far as like they're living there, they're using your stuff? Is that
That's a good
that
question.
is
And
that a thing?
oftentimes do still take in furniture. So they may have, some dated pieces that are really bringing down the amount, the perceived value
Right.
of the home. And so by bringing in maybe a fresh couch, or maybe some accent chairs, those things can really make a difference. But if they're living in the home and we've brought in some things, typically it's just for looks only. Do not touch, do not
Okay.
use.
Okay. So maybe that's like in a formal living room or something that they're not using, but they're watching TV in a different room or something like that, maybe
We make it work in whatever
make it
way
work.
we can, because
Okay.
we're really problem solvers. And
Yes.
so we want to help them sell this house. And if they have to live in the things that are brought in, we make decisions on that. And so, is that your dog that just walked
Yeah,
in?
she just decided to come join us.
Open the door for her.
Hi, puppy. So, oh, that made me totally lose my train of thought. That's okay.
That's okay.
Um, yeah, so it's just all about working. They have to kind of deal with whatever it is that you're bringing to them,
Mhm.
and they have to just go with what you say. You
And
can't sit on this couch. Okay.
Do you bring in soft goods when you occupied stage?
Generally not. I've kind of switched to I used to have a few things and I would rent them to them. And I've kind of switched to um having going shopping for them or having them going shopping so that they have all new stuff and it's theirs and they can take it with them to their new place. And then I don't have to make that third trip back to destage and take the stuff away. And
Right,
cost wise, it's it's about the same. And
right.
yet they get to keep the item. So it made more sense for me because then I didn't have to have piles and piles of pillows and things. And I could kind of get all that extra stuff out of the house and
Yeah,
they can have what they need specific. Like if they need 6 towels, they can go buy 6 towels.
right.
And
Especially
yeah,
moving into a new home, they want fresh things anyway.
right,
I
right.
don't have a
And
lot of clients who choose that for me, so I like that because then they're not using our stuff and being tempted to use the hand towels in the bathroom, for instance.
right, well, exactly, right. Especially when you put white towels in the bathroom.
Yeah.
You don't want them washing their hands and wiping their grubby
Oh,
paws all over your pretty white towels.
but they do it all the time.
They're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like, it seems to be working well for me for them to just go buy it. And sometimes realtors provide that. Sometimes if realtors are with us, they'll be
Right.
like, oh, hey, I've got 6 towels in my basement. I can
Right.
bring them over, cool, whatever. They're not mine. I don't, it doesn't matter to me as
Right.
long as they're in there because we know that they look so good and they photograph so well. So
Right.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's all about those photos, baby.
Yes, it is. Those
Yeah.
marketing photos.
Yep. Okay. Where are we? So
Cost.
let's talk cost. So how much are we looking here for staging, and when do we pay and how much and all of the things? Can you fill us
Well,
in?
so typically, most of the time, my realtors do pay for that a consultation for their clients because they want the photos to look amazing. And they know if they bring in a professional, then those marketing photos will really bring in the buyers. So oftentimes they will pay. And consultations can be anywhere from 200 to 750 depending on the professional. And I know that in my consultations, and probably yours too, Stephanie, I bring in so much value with my consultations that I am not the cheapest person in town because I
100%.
know the value that I'm bringing in.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we're giving them all of the information, right? Like you're not just giving them the Google consultation where they can find it online and
Right, right,
do the things. Like we give them all of the recommendations and the reasons behind the recommendations and the
right,
psychology behind the whatever and like all of the stuff. And
right.
I feel like too, we've been doing it for 4 years, so we have that experience behind us too, that we shouldn't be that bottom baseline price, right? We should be somewhere kind of
Right,
up
because
around that a
really,
little bit.
we're even making the realtor money. Not only are
Oh,
we making the homeowner money, but we're making the realtor money. And we're
that's
taking
right.
them out of the hot seat and bringing in that professional who can say some of the things that people are really not open to hearing. But we have a special way of getting people to commit to the things that they need to do with their home.
Right. Getting those the smelly house and things like that, being able to get that across to them without being mean about it,
Yeah.
without, but still being persuasive, but doing it delicately so that they understand the importance of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and most realtors don't want to do that because they have to have that relationship
Yep.
throughout, right? Throughout the whole, they got to get through escrow and they still have to be friends. We don't have to
Exactly.
be
Exactly.
friends. We can be the bad guy.
So we have heard that you can deduct the staging cost from taxes. Now, definitely check in your own state if that's true or not, but it is a
Yeah,
moving expense, and generally you can write off moving expenses on your taxes. So
sure. Yeah,
look at
I've heard that
that.
too, and I've never looked into it. So
Yeah,
yeah, look into it. I don't know.
not moving.
I'm not moving it. Well, not you look into it.
Right.
Listeners, look into
So
it.
generally, when it
Yeah.
comes to vacant staging, a staging professional will go out and do a property preview on your house, put together a proposal, and that cost is a little more complicated. And people think it's just as easy as waving your magic wand and there is your house beautifully furnished. Well, it's actually quite time consuming. So the cost is not only the furniture itself that is generally rented, but it's also the designer's time to put together a design and then find the pieces, source the inventory that's necessary, the furniture, the
Yeah.
decor, the art, all of those things, wrap them up,
Oh
pack them
gosh.
up, take them over to the house to be staged,
Yep.
unpack it all, stage it all. then come back later once the house has sold for more, probably,
That's right.
and pack it all back up and take it back to storage or warehouse or wherever it belongs, unpack it and put it back on the shelves. So
It's a
that's
lot of
very time
work.
consuming. Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot of
But
work.
on top of all of that, we have this cost of the delivery, which, as everything else has gone up in the world, the cost of delivery has gone up as well. So that can range
Oh,
anywhere from, $300 to $700, depending on who you have moving the furniture for you.
wow. Yeah. But I mean, that money that you're putting into it, right? You're going to get back at the
Absolutely.
closing table. Because I
Absolutely. And,
think I,
that cost is often less than the first price drop.
oh, for sure.
So,
Right. I mean, we price drop in what, $10,000 increments or something. You're not going to spend
sometimes
10,000.
5, and it's
Yeah.
even then it's usually less.
Right.
So vacant staging, really the price can range from, if you're only doing 1 or 2 rooms, of maybe $2,000 up to over $10,000, depending on the home size and price.
Luxury level. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. Um, Lost my train of
Oh,
thought
and
there
let
for
me
a
talk
second.
real quick about how that's usually collected.
Oh,
So
yes.
most staging companies have a contract, and at least with my staging company, I have them sign my contract, and at that time I take a 50% deposit, which
Okay.
allows me to go source the items and organize the pieces that I'm going to be bringing in.
Yeah.
And then the remaining 50% is usually due the day before staging, which a lot of people will say, why am I paying you before you've even done this work?
Of course, we asked that question. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I've got an answer for you, because
Okay.
staging is very much of the work is done on the front end. So
For
you've done
sure.
all this packing and sourcing and getting it all and designing even. So most of our work is done on the front end. The staging
Mhm.
is actually the easier part. And so a lot of times people back out at the last minute because they'll get an offer, lo and behold.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
why
What's
we
your
expect it all paid for on the front end.
And what is your cancellation policy? Because I know I talk about this in one of my classes that I teach, but like if somebody can't, I mean, you got to have a few days because you've done so much work up until then, right? You can't
Exactly.
just, surely they can't cancel the day before and
Oh
not
gosh,
have a
no,
penalty.
no, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
In
What's
my
your
contract,
policy?
I have lots of fees that are incurred depending on when they choose to cancel. It's,
Okay.
it's never a great thing for anybody because we've
Mm,
already done our job getting it ready.
right.
I get it that they often get a great offer that they can't miss out on, but
Right.
there is cancellation
They,
on
they're
that
still going to be
fee.
responsible for something. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
And we can talk. I actually have a ton of info on common contract clauses and why they're important and all that. So we could have a day where we talk just about contracts
Sure.
and cancellation fees and all that kind of stuff. So that would be,
Sure.
I think, whole nother day, not for
Another
today,
episode.
but yeah, for sure. So tune in for that if you're interested in contracts.
Right. So one last thing about that,
Yeah.
cost is usually, depending on the company, for 1 month period. Some companies offer a second month because you want to keep your staging in the home through the appraisal, because I don't know about you, but appraisers are even moved by the staging. Emotionally, they're affected by the staging. So they're going
Right.
to perceive the value as higher in the home if it's staged. So keep
Yeah.
it staged through appraisal.
Yes. Love it. Love it. And I just want to add prices also vary. I mean, they vary depending on the market, where you are in the country. And they're also going to vary depending on the experience of the stager, right? So that's the reason that even like a consultation ranges from 200 to 750 or whatever. Like that's a big range. But in one part of the country, it might start at 200, and in another part of the country, they might start at 400, and then they go up depending on a more experienced stager
Right.
or something like that. So
And don't
just want
forget,
to throw that out there. Yeah.
but don't forget that it also has something to do with the price of the property.
For sure.
Or
Yeah.
where it's located, the luxury level, all of those things go into play when
Yep.
we're coming up with our proposed fees.
Yep. Love it. Good. Okay. So we've been over the basics, right? What staging is and how it's different than design and services and pricing and all that kind of stuff. So why should we stage? Why is it important? You have a good analogy for this, right?
Well, I really like to think of staging kind of in the same realm as if you were to sell a car. Well, if you're going to sell your car, you're not just going to put it online looking as it is.
Right.
Chances are you're going to do some vacuuming, cleaning up the crumbs underneath the seats. You're going
Find
to
the French fries.
fix up things that are broken. If you have a broken window, chances are you'll fix that. You're going to make the car look like it's just super clean and working the best it ever has.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's similar to staging a home, don't you think, Stephanie?
Oh, 100%.
You gotta put the work in before you send it to market so that
We
you
can't
make
just give them this crummy, dirty house. We want to give them a well-maintained, clean, beautiful, fabulous house, right? That's what people want. Nobody wants the one that's fallen down. So
exactly.
yeah,
And first
love it.
impressions really matter.
So detail
So,
your house before
detail
you
it. Yeah, fix the things that are wrong with it, because buyers don't want to move into a project house generally.
Right.
And most buyers these days are aged 25 to 35, and most sellers are aged 45 to 65. And these young buyers do not want to buy their parents' home.
They don't.
So
No, they
make
want
the
a pretty thing
updates
handed.
and
Yeah.
freshen it up.
That's right. They do. They want the fresh paint and they want the updates and they want it to look pretty and they want to just be able to move right in and not have to do anything. So
right.
yeah,
Because they're seeing them online first, which
that's
is
right.
So they're looking online and it's like a dating app. And if they look at your house, you have about 7 seconds to capture their attention. And if you don't, they're swiping on past you and you've lost them.
That's right. So that's a whole nother episode. That pictures are so important, right? Because that's where they're really getting the first impression is how good are your photos.
That's right.
Get a professional.
If
you're going to get a professional stager, get a professional photographer.
And photographer, exactly.
Yes, love it. Okay, do you have anything else?
I think we've pretty much covered what is staging, basically the basics.
Yeah,
so
it's a good basics day.
Yeah, and from here on out, we'll just get it a little more in depth into various aspects of staging.
Yes, love it. All right. Well, thanks. This was awesome. I can't wait till next time.
Me too.
All right.
Stay with us next time.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for listening to Stager Savvy, Insider Secrets to Stage Your Home and Sell it for more. We hope you've enjoyed our discussion on home staging and gained valuable insights that you can apply to your own real estate journey.
If you have any questions or ideas for future episodes, or would like to learn more about our services, please feel free to visit our website, stagersavvy.com, or reach out to us directly at stagersavvy@gmail.com. We're always happy to help.
And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast to stay up to date on the latest episodes. And if you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review. Your feedback is incredibly valuable to us, and it helps us improve our content and reach more people.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.